So imagine I ask you to print welcome to ShivCore 1000 times. Would you write see out 1000 times? Of course not. There has to be a smarter way. So yes, and that's exactly what you will learn today. In this episode, we will explore loops in C++ using while loop, do while loop and for loop along with break and continue statements so you can make your programs and repeat tasks automatically. So hello everyone, I am Shivansh Verma and welcome to ShivCore. By the end of this lesson, you will not only understand how loops work, but you will also write real C++ programs using each type of loop. So open VS Code and keep keyboard ready. And let's begin. So imagine, now coming to the next, what is loop? So a loop is a control structure that repeatedly executes a block of code until a specified conditions become false. So in the way it works is that it first starts, then it checks the condition. If the condition is true, then it executes code and then it goes back. But if the code is false, it directly ends. So understand, if it's false, it ends, but if it is true, it executes, block and then go again to start. Understood? So some real life examples like printing report cards, Instagram feed loading, ATM transaction menu, download progress, counting game score, all of it are example of loops. So key point for you is that loops help us automate repetitive tasks and write cleaner code. Coming further, why do we need code? So like I said, if you might write welcome, so you write welcome 5 times. But see how simpler it is here. Just write for loop, the value, the iteration, this is the starting value, this is the ending value, and this is the iteration for each, and this is what to print. I will explain it more in just here in the next slides. So see how easy it becomes to do it. So without loops, more code, hard to maintain and possibility of more mistakes. But with loops, less code, easier to modify and cleaner programs. So a loop lets us perform repetitive tasks with just a few lines of code. So coming next, types of loops in C++. Here are 3 types of loops: while loop, do while loop, for loop. So the best when while loop is best when number of iteration is unknown. Do while is the speciality of do while loop is that it at least execute once. While loop may or may not, but do while will execute once at least. And for loop, it's best when iterations are known. Learning path here will be, we will learn while loop first, then do while, then for loop, then break, then continue, and then nested loops, and we will master each loop one by one with live coding. So firstly, the while loop. Syntax for while loop is that first we will write while, then the condition is written, and here we can below it in curly brackets we will write statements. Simply it initializes condition and then the condition, through condition it executes on body, increment and update is done, and the task is repeated again, then it works again and initialized. Flowchart is the same. So important notes is that condition is checked before execution. If condition becomes false, the loop stops. If condition never becomes false, an infinite loop occurs. we will understand infinite loop also what that thing is. So let's switch to VS Code and write our first while loop. So coming to our VS Code screen, our first, let's say first we will check the question which we will do. So the dry run for it, like say if this int I is equal to 1 while I is less than equal to 5, we will print I and l, and it i's value increase. So the execution table, you can understand the initial value of I is 1. Here it is 1, value of I is 1 as declared. Condition is true because 1 is less than 5. It becomes true, output becomes 1. So I plus plus does what, that it becomes 1 becomes 2. So the iteration is second and the value of I is second, and the condition is still true. Output will become 2, 2 will be cut, and 2's value now become 3. The same way 3 will become 4. The same way 4 will become 5. So in the condition while 5 is not less than 5 but 5 is equal to 5. So that's why at value of 5 also it is true. So it will become 5 and now it will become 6. And for 6 the condition will be false and the loop will end. I hope you understood this. So first question for while loop will be, write a C++ program that accepts a number n from user and print all numbers from 1 to n using a while loop. Concept here are while loop variables, user input and increment operator. Hint is that where should the loop start, what will be the stopping condition, and which statement should update the loop variable. Common mistake is forgetting the increment statement, causing an infinite loop. And you will understand how while loop executes repeatedly until a condition becomes false. So pause the video and try solving it yourself before we switch to VS Code. And now we are switching to our screen to VS Code. So hashtag include IOStream using namespace standard int main return 0. So let's say for this question to work, firstly we have to do it for while loop. We will simply say int n and I equal to 1 simply, and we will say the user to give the number. So enter the number. Now I will say take n as input here. Here will be this also. And now when I say the number is taken and it is in input, then I will say while I is less than I is less than equal to n, see out I. You understand the thing what I did? So here after cout also let me add a space so that the code looks more simpler to you. And now I will say I plus plus so that its value increases and it doesn't becomes an infinite loop. This thing here is very important. We have to do it, otherwise it will become infinite loop. So now when I run this code, wait, let me clear it and show it. So now when I run this code, I will say number as 20. It will simply print 1 to 20. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 20 are given. Same way, if I say any number, let's say 1000. See, it went from 1 and it went all the way towards 1000. So printing it by myself could have been an hour long work. And see how simply just I give input and these 10 lines of code made me possible so that I can write all of this at, and this output is taken. Otherwise it could have been an havoc of work to do. So now I hope you have understood this. Coming back to our presentation, we have done this code. Coming ahead, the infinite loop thing I was explaining, that if a loop never becomes false and it keeps executing forever, then it is infinite loop. So I was explaining, like if I is less than equal to 5 and I simply say cout I and I didn't write I plus plus there, then it could have become infinite loop. It will just continue going and going because I value is not increasing, so it will never reach 5. It will be just 1 always, and it program will never stop, and your CPU usage increases. You need to terminate manually then. Simply press Ctrl plus C in the terminal to stop an infinite loop. If you are trying it yourself, you can also do this. So coming ahead, the do while loop, the many questions are done from this. The do and then the statement in it, and the while condition is given just after do. And while writing while condition, there is no statements below while. You understand? All the statement work is done in do. So execute, check condition, and then repeat. Simple flowchart: it start, executes. After execution, it checks condition. If condition is true, then repeat, or if condition is false, then end it. So unlike while loop, do while loop executes at least one time. Even if the condition is false initially, the loop executes once. So let's see the practice question and verify it in VS Code. So create a simple menu driven program using a do while loop. In the menu we have continue for 1 and 2 for exit. The program should keep displaying the menu until the user chooses option 2. So concepts are do while loop, user input, and conditional statement. The thing to remember is that the menu should appear at least one time. So using while instead of do while and missing the first execution is the mistake you do it. So the learning outcome will be understanding why do while is useful for menu driven applications. Flow will be display menu, and we take choice. If the choice is 2, then we will exit. If the choice is no, which means if the choice is 1, then show menu again. So if the input is 112, menu displayed should be 3 times, and after that program should say program terminated. So pause the video and try solving it yourself before we are switching to VS Code. And now we have switched to it, and we will start doing this question also. So here I will say hashtag include iostream int main return 0. So in this question the main thing you have to understand is that firstly we will take choice. We will say int choice, and now we can start with do loop. Here we will say cout firstly menu, one more here. So after doing this menu work, we will start with explaining the user that what is for what. So if the user chooses 1, then it is for choice. Let me add a /n here also, because if the program works many times, so it become not good looking. So second will be, first is continue and second should be exit. So after taking one as continue and second as exit, we will simply say user to enter your choice, and below this we will take choice in scene yes. So till here we have done for it. So in this, inside this do loop only, we will use if condition also. If choice is equal to 1, cout. So here we can say that program is running. Program is running. else we we have used for 1. We can directly take else, but for we can take choice else if to make choice is equal to 2. So we can also take border values also. We can say now program terminated, and in the else we can say simply invalid choice. So all of the if and if else conditions are done. Simply we have to after this say the while thing, which is do. After I write while choice is not equal to 2. Simply, one second. For oh yes, we have to use using namespace standard here also for this. So I have made the code look more nicer. I have included these /n also here. So now when we run the code, enter your choice, and when I say 1, it says program is running, and then again ask for menu. If I ask it again 1, it will again come. Again 1, again come. 1 again, it will continue do it. And when I say 2, it will simply say program terminated and done. So that's our code for this. Now coming to our presentation. So while versus do while. In the while loop, entry is controlled, whereas in do while exit is controlled. In while loop condition is checked first, but in do while condition is checked later. In while loop can execute 0 time, but do while executes at least 1 time. So use while when numbers of iterations is unknown and condition must be checked first, and do while when menu driven program to be done used in user input validation, and at least one execution is required. So choose the loop depending on the problem, not personal preference. And the last third loop, which is the for loop. So syntax is for initialization, condition and update. So here are the statements for it. The components includes initialization, condition and update, where initialize runs only once. Condition is then checked before every iteration, and update runs after every iteration. So execution cycle is like initialization, condition, execute, update and condition again. See this as example. For int I is equal to 1 less than 5 less than equal to 5 and I plus plus. See out I. So the output will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I value increases every time. So 1 comes to the statement, I is printed, 1 is done, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. The for loop is the most commonly used loop when the number of iteration is already known. So hopping on to the question for loop, we have to write a C++ program that prints the multiplication table of a given number up to 10 and multiplies using a for loop. Concepts required are for loop, variables, user input and arithmetic operators. Hint is that use loop variable to represent the multiplier from 1 to 10. Common mistake are that loop start from 0 instead of 1. And the learning outcome will be understand how for loops are used when number of iteration is already known. Here is a visual. If input is 7, output should be 7 into 1 is 7, 7 into 2, 14 up to 10 till 70. So pause the video and try solving it yourself before we switch to VS Code. So I hope you have tried this. Now coming back to our VS Code screen, let me scroll down and we will start with it. Hashtag include IOStream using namespace standard int main return 0 here. So after doing this much, you have already practiced this much, I believe, because it's a basic thing and you always practice it. It's nothing much. So firstly we will say int num, we will say user to enter the number to get its multiplication table. One thing you should know for this, let me explain 1 minute. C in num. So let me tell you for this question why we are doing it with for loop is because the for loop we have int the iterations known. We know we have to make up to 10th multiplication. So we will simply say for int I is equal to 1, I is less than equal to 10, I plus plus. So the iteration here will work 10 times. We will simply say cout num multiplied by I. Now I will say equal to num into I. An important line, you should understand this line. After this I will also say end line. Let's make a little better. I will say here also slash n multiplied multiplication of table. So multiplication of table, multiplication table of, and now we can also say num here. After this I believe we should also write NL. So I here one more. Yes, so our code is done. So let's say I run this code. So enter the number to get this multiplication table. So let me say 8. Simply the multiplication table of 8. 8 into 1 is 8, 8 into 2 is 16, all up to 8 into 10, 80. You can check this, we have gotten the table and we have done it very nicely. So that's how easy it is to understand and how the loop makes our work easy. Understand it. So coming further, so loop execution in action, you have to understand the initialization, the condition work, the execution code work, and how we update the variable, and then how condition is again done. Important notice is that every iteration follows exactly the same cycle until the condition becomes false. While it is while loop, do while loop, for loop, we always check for why and how the condition fails. So the break statement immediately terminates the loop. Example, for int I is equal to 1 less than equal to 10 I plus plus. If I is equal to 5, break. So cout I. So the output comes till 4 only. Otherwise it would have come till 10. But because we have used break statement here, the loop ends just at the value 5 because it is like a danger sign. So you can't go ahead it. So if I is equal to 5, it is done. So before till that only the work will be done. Visual flow is like loop, I is equal to 5, break statement executes and the program exits the loop. You have to use break when required result is found or the user wants to exit or research completed or error have occurred. So break completely exits the current loop. Coming to the continue statement, the continue statement skips the current iteration and moves to the next one. For example, for int I is equal to 1, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus. If I equal to 5, continue. So here the thing is that 5, when the value 5 will come, it will skip the iteration. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4 is there. When it becomes 5, it will skip the 5 and it will direct move again to the statement. So next it will continue with 6, 7, 10. So use continue when you have to ignore the invalid input or skip specific value or you want to continue processing remaining data. This is the visual flow of it. Continue skips only one iteration. So break versus continue, break stops the loop, exit immediately and remaining iterations never execute. Whereas continue skips current iteration, loops continues normally and remaining iterations still executes. Example situation for break, like if you are searching for a student, if student is found, you use break. If you want to ignore absent students, skip absent using continue. Simply you can remember break is equal to exit and continue is equal to skip. Now the last thing, a nested loop. Nested loop is a loop inside another loop and it is called a nested loop. It is nothing much of a thing. It is just loop is done twice. So firstly for int I is equal to this and then again for loop cout into. So this prints as a a 2D 3D array here. So the thing is that it is used to matrix problem. It is done with it. It is like pattern printing problems. It uses tables. It is grid traversal done here. So visual like outer loop, then inner loop executes and the code executes in it, and then inner loop ends and then outer loop continues. So nested loops are the foundation of pattern printing, which we will master in the upcoming episodes. So rapid fire challenge for all of you. While loop always execute at least once? Is this which loop execute at least once? Giving 10 seconds for to you. So yes, the correct answer is A, while loop. Question 2. Which loop is best when the number of iteration is already known? So yes, it is for loop. Try answering before we move to the next question. So which keyword immediately exits a loop? So yes, the answer is break. Which keyword skips only the current iteration? So yes, the correct answer is continue. Do not see the answer here. It is a hint given that break is equal to exit, continue is equal to skip. Moving to the question number 5. How many times will this loop execute? For int I is equal to 1, I less than equal to 5, I plus plus. So correct answer is 5 times. What happens if the update statement is missing? If you have said it is any type of error or the program stop, then you are incorrect, because if the update statement is missing, then it will become an infinite loop. Think logically before answering, I would like to say that. So the question number 7. Can loops be nested? Simply we all know yes, the loops can be nested. Which loop checks the condition before executing? So the correct answer is do while loop. Which loop is commonly used for counting? So the correct answer is for loop. The last question, question number 10. Which statement is true? So do not mark A, B or D option, because the correct answer is C option, because break exits the loops completely. So I hope you have challenged yourself, and do tell me in the comments that how many answers did correct. And these are the answer for all of these questions. So yes, performance matter. If you are have gotten 9 to 10 correct answers, then you are excellent and you are ready for practice lab. If you have 6 to 8 correct, good job, but revise today's concept once. And if you have gotten below 6 are correct, watch the important sections again before episode 6. So don't worry if you didn't score full marks. Programming is learned through practice, not memorization. So yes, thank you for learning with ShivCore. Every expert programmer was once a beginner. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep building. This is our website, and this we are doing complete C++ playlist for all of you, specially for your demand, and continue learning from episode 6. Next episode preview, we will in episode 6 we will do 20 plus programming questions, live problem solving, beginner to intermediate level, and build logic through coding. So success in programming doesn't came from watching tutorial, it comes from writing code every single day. At the last, I would like to say, master the core, build the future, and thank you for watching. Signing off, ShivCore.